What do you get when a socialist walks into President Trump's White House? Apparently, a little bit of kumbaya.
We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built. He wants to see rents coming down, all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there. No, I don't expect, I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great.
And I can tell you that there were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living. And I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes.
It was very much the opposite of the Zelensky-style smackdown we saw from POTUS earlier this year. And Mayor-elect Mamdani dropped his worst nightmare shtick quicker than a hot potato.
My administration would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare. New Yorkers do not want a mayor who is working in tandem with the president to subvert the will of the people of this city.
I appreciated the time with the president. I appreciated the conversation. I look forward to working together to deliver that affordability for New Yorkers.
Hold up. You're telling us the fascist who wants to King Kong his way through New York City is actually a pretty reasonable guy?
I can tell you I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that. And I know there might be differences about ideology, but the place of agreement is the work that needs to be done to make New York City affordable. That's what I look forward to.
And I want to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist. And your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Let's bring in Committee to Unleash Prosperity co-founder Steve Moore and Heritage Foundation chief economist E.J. Antoni. I don't know President Trump personally, but I do understand what he was doing today. And he just shocked, trolled, and wiped the floor with every Democrat in this country by having Zohran Mamdani at the White House and saying, hey, we're rooting for you. We want New York to be great again. And he made people like Nancy Pelosi look small, tiny, angry, and petty, Steve Moore. That's what happened.
Well, he's very good at that, isn't he? But listen, I didn't watch the whole press conference, but I watched a lot of it. And I have to say, you know, Zohran, I've written a lot about him. I haven't seen him in action. You know, he comes across as a charming guy. And maybe that's what's most dangerous about him is that he's going to, you know, stab the economy in the back with a knife while he's smiling at you. But I have to tell you, the problem with his analysis is that it is true. Things are way, way, way too expensive in New York. New York is the highest cost of living place in North America, and it's the city that's been run by socialists and leftists. So, you know, why is it that if he's going to fix it, they've tried this for 25 years, it is the rents, the health care, the cost of food, everything is incredibly expensive there because of the very policies he endorses.
EJ, much like Dagan, I believe it was a masterclass from the president because all these Democrats and all these far left-wing nuts were watching this thing. And what did they see? A magnanimous president, somebody reaching out their hand and said, of course we want to help New York. We love New York. I love New York. But what Mamdani has promised, he's already starting to walk back because free busing for everybody, free, you know, taking care of 100,000 homeless kids, supposedly, you know, taking care of making sure they get rid of billionaires, taking over grocery stores to make them government run. He needs Donald Trump, but I don't think Donald Trump's going to support that ultimately by coughing up billions of dollars, asked by a very basic question, like, how are you going to pay for all this? Mamdani couldn't even answer that yesterday.
Right, Jason, I think you're absolutely right. And actually, I think the mayor-elect realizes your point as well, that he's not going to be able to pay for all of these goodies for New Yorkers. He's not going to be able to finance all of these crazy left-wing boondoggles. He'll probably pick and choose the most popular ideas and try to implement those. But at the end of the day, a lot of his promises on the campaign were just like the rhetoric he used to describe the president. It was hyperbole, it was exaggeration, it was promises to try to get votes, not actual reality. But I will say to your and Dagan and Steve's point earlier regarding Trump's magnanimity here, I think that's absolutely the case. And what a masterclass it was to come together like this, left-wing and right-wing populism, I guess, if you want to call it that, and for these folks to say we're rooting for each other because we're rooting for America. What a stark contrast to all of the crazy left-wing radicals who have been explicitly rooting for the president and therefore America to fail.
And quite frankly, if Mamdani makes New York is socialist, the economy is socialist here, all he has to do is not drive revenue away. And if he makes this work, just it doesn't screw it up, he sends shivers down the spines of every other Democrat across this country because he aims for higher office, and that's probably why he was in Washington with President Trump today anyway. Young men, meantime, are dropping out of the workforce and fast. Employment among 16 to 24-year-olds is down 16 percentage points since 1995, now parked at just 55%. And Steve, the issue of artificial intelligence is front and center. It's not something to be feared, but it's something to be embraced. I think we just lost Steve. But EJ, you have to think about, I don't know if we still have Steve, but EJ, I'm going to come to you on this. You have to think about being creative and not worrying about like, oh, you know, my coding job potentially is going to go away, but to be a creative thinker of how are you going to invent something in this world and then just use AI tools. But how do you see these statistics?
Well, I think it's unfortunate because we've basically been lying to young people. We've been telling them not to worry about, getting entry-level jobs when they're in high school or even in college. My goodness, I worked all through college. A lot of folks I knew when we were younger did the same thing. There's no reason why kids can't be doing that today. But instead, we've told everyone, no, you have to go to college and don't bother, again, with those entry-level jobs. You can get a crazy degree that ends in the word studies, and then you just get the world handed to you when you graduate, or you go to graduate school, and again, then you get an even bigger world. You get the moon and the stars, I guess, at that point. And all of this nonsense just isn't true. And so at the same time, we take all these kids and deprive them of years worth of on-the-job training, of building real life skills. We also burden them with sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. We're literally setting these kids up for failure.
There's a lot of, Steve, real quickly, we've got a short amount of time, a lot of stats out there with this Fox News poll that comes up. This one is really interesting. In the next 5 years, artificial intelligence in the United States will, and the answer is 58% of the respondents said eliminate jobs. And I think there's a lot of consternation from young people and older people about where are they going to work? And is AI going to take away my job, or is it going to be helpful to me?
Oh, my God, this is the most incredible revolution coming in the history of mankind. All the menial jobs are going to be done by robots, and that is going to free up American ingenuity for all sorts of incredible advances in productivity. I mean, this is, I'm 65 years old. I hope I can see this to its conclusion, because it's going to be an amazing future. Just like when the tractor came in 100 years ago and moved people out of, the drudgery of farm work and got other kinds of jobs. So it's a very exciting period ahead. By the way, one of the things that this AI revolution and robotics revolution will do is dramatically reduce prices. I'm on the board of a company called Lightspeed. We build houses with robots. That's going to reduce the cost of building a new house by 40 or 50%. So in other words, everybody's going to be able to afford a castle with this kind of technology. So I'm excited.
Steve Moore, EJ Antoni, thank you so much.